Jack Torres. I'm a rising senior at Somerville High. I work at a climbing gym. I'm an activist on the side. Initially, I think everyone has a reaction of like, well, when I was 16, like blah, blah, blah. And I think that that's a pretty fair reaction. And you know, we're not fully developed and we're not mature at 16. But as I thought more about it, those are like decisions you're making in a moment, like a hot decision that you're making. And voting isn't like that. Every 16-year-old I know can make a cold, logical, long-term decision. And that's what voting is. It's not like, should I cut somebody off? Like 16-year-olds are terrible at that kind of logic. But I think that voting is something different. And you know, that's one reason I believe in it. Also, 16-year-olds are close to the pain. And so I think when we have an education system that is failing a lot of students, and you have people who are voting who have been out of touch with that system for a long time, it's really good to reintroduce 16-year-olds and students into the system to be able to help write the solutions to the problems that they face on a daily basis. Some people say 16 and 17-year-olds wouldn't vote, so why give them the right? Because 18-year-olds don't vote, and they definitely won't. So that's something that I hear a lot, is that we're checked out, and so why even offer it? That's shown to be not true. In Maryland, there's a few communities that have done this, first places in America that have done it. And they have really high voter turnout with 16 and 17-year-olds, and they've actually seen an uptick in turnout of 18 and those younger generations too. And I think that that's because when you're 16 and 17, you're in a more stable place than you are when you're 18. 16 and 17, you're usually still going to high school. Oftentimes you're still living at home, or you have some type of living situation that's more stable than when you're 18. And oftentimes you're moving, maybe you're going to college, you're trying to find work. It's a much more tumultuous time in your life. So when you're 18, of course, voting is not going to be the first thing you're thinking of. But when you're 16 and 17-year-olds, you're still in gov classes and in civics classes. Like, they can talk to you directly. Hey, election day's tomorrow. Like, you guys can all go. Like, I'll let you go during my class. Like, City Hall's literally right there. So that's, it's really easy to vote when you're 16 and 17. So that's one thing. Another is that 16 and 17-year-olds are young, so they're not invested in their community. They have no skin in the game, which I think is balderdash because, first of all, 16 and 17-year-olds have oftentimes been living in their communities for way longer than older people have. Maybe they just moved there to get a job or whatever. But 16 and 17-year-olds oftentimes have been in their communities for their whole lives. They've grown up there. It's their hometown. Also, they're 16 and 17, they're gonna live a lot longer than anybody else who can vote. So they have more skin in the game. They have a future that they're looking toward. That especially people who are voting, majority of people who vote in local elections are elderly people. And that's great. I mean, everyone should vote, but they have less skin in the game than 16 and 17-year-olds. So I think that, that argument doesn't make any sense. People say that 16 and 17-year-olds are illogical and irrational, which can be true to some extent. Also, so can people over 16 and 17. So I think that people don't really think through that when they say it. They're just resisting change.